I was always the quiet twin, the one who stayed up late studying while my sister Amanda enjoyed the spotlight of our parents' attention. When my acceptance letter to Westlake University arrived, I felt that finally my hard work had paid off. Then came the unthinkable demand from my parents to turn down my dream school because my twin sister had been rejected. They called a family meeting and told me it would be selfish to go without her. I never imagined my greatest achievement would become my family's greatest disappointment. If you've ever had your accomplishments diminished by those who should be celebrating you, drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from, and hit subscribe. My story might help you find the courage I needed to discover. Our family home in suburban Michigan looked like any other on our street. Two-story colonial neat lawn and a basketball hoop in the driveway that mostly collected rust and spiderwebs. But inside those walls, an invisible scoreboard tracked the achievements of the Parker twins, Amanda and me, Stella. My parents, Jack and Diana Parker, grew up in working-class homes where college was a luxury they never experienced. Dad worked his way up from warehouse staff to regional manager at a shipping company, while Mom balanced part-time accounting work with raising twin daughters. They viewed education as the golden ticket they had missed, and they transferred all those dreams onto their children, or more accurately, onto Amanda. From the time we were little, the difference in how they treated us was subtle but unmistakable. Amanda was the first to crawl, first to walk, first to form sentences. I followed days or weeks behind, always in the shadow of her accomplishments. As we grew older, Amanda blossomed socially. She made friends, easily charmed teachers, and lit up rooms with her energy. I preferred books to parties, science projects to school dances. On our 10th birthday, I unwrapped a set of encyclopedias, while Amanda received an expensive bike. When I expressed disappointment, Mom patted my shoulder and said, "These match your personality better, sweetie. Amanda needs to get outside more." The summer before 6th grade, I won the regional spelling bee. My parents attended but spent most of the competition chatting with Amanda about her upcoming dance recital. When I returned to our seats with the trophy, Dad gave me a quick side hug before asking Amanda if she was nervous about her performance that weekend. By high school, the pattern was firmly established. Amanda became a cheerleader, dated the quarterback, and maintained decent grades without much effort. I joined the debate team, edited the school newspaper, and maintained a perfect 4 gigapascals. At dinner, conversations revolved around Amanda's social life, with occasional acknowledgments of my academic achievements as an afterthought. My sanctuary came in 4th grade when Mrs. Wilson recognized my love for learning. She stayed after school to give me additional reading assignments and recommended me for advanced placement classes. Under her guidance, I discovered that knowledge could be its own reward, even if recognition never followed. The local library became my second home. While Amanda attended sleepovers and parties, I lost myself in books about faraway places and different times. The librarian Miss Place. Garcia would save new science fiction releases for me, knowing my preference for stories about people overcoming impossible odds. Little did I know how relevant those tales would become. Throughout high school, I channeled my energy into academics. I became president of the science club, led our math team to state championships, and accumulated enough AP credits to enter college as a sophomore. Each night I studied until midnight while hearing my parents downstairs laughing with Amanda about her latest social adventure. When senior year arrived, college applications became the primary focus. Amanda casually mentioned applying to Westlake University, a prestigious school known for its competitive admissions and exceptional pre-law program. My heart sank because Westlake had been my dream since freshman year. I had researched their neuroscience program extensively, even corresponding with department professors about research opportunities. My parents immediately embraced Amanda's interest in Westlake. They hired an essay coach for her and drove 5 hours for a private campus tour. Meanwhile, I quietly filled out my own application using school computers to write essays during lunch periods. "Westlake would be perfect for you," Amanda Mom gushed one night as we ate dinner. "Their alumni network is incredible for aspiring attorneys." "What about you?" Stella Dad asked as an afterthought. "Community college has some good programs too." "I applied to Westlake also," I said quietly, pushing peas around my plate. "Well, that would be something if both our girls went there," Mom said with a chuckle that suggested how unlikely she found the possibility. December through March became an endless waiting game. I checked the mail daily, heart pounding each time. Amanda seemed unconcerned already, receiving acceptance letters from safety schools, but holding out for Westlake. On April 14th, I retrieved the mail to find a thick envelope bearing the Westlake University seal with my name on it. I hid it under my jacket and raced upstairs to my room, closing the door, before carefully opening the package with trembling fingers. Dear Stella Parker, we are pleased to inform you of your acceptance to Westlake University's class of 2026. Tears blurred my vision as I read further about the honors program invitation and partial scholarship offer. After years of quiet determination, someone had recognized my potential. I hugged the letter to my chest, allowing myself a rare moment of pure pride. For 30 minutes, I basked in that private joy, imagining a future where my dedication would finally be celebrated. Maybe now my parents would see me clearly. Maybe this would be the achievement that finally mattered enough. With that fragile hope, I went downstairs to share my news, the acceptance letter carefully folded in my pocket like a talisman. The following afternoon, Amanda retrieved her own letter from Westlake. Unlike mine, hers was thin and light. I watched from the staircase as she tore it open in the kitchen, with our parents hovering nearby, their faces eager and expectant. We regret to inform you. Amanda began reading aloud before her voice cracked. The paper trembled in her hands as tears welled in her eyes. Mom immediately wrapped her in a tight embrace, while Dad read the letter over their shoulders, his expression darkening. "This is ridiculous," he muttered, tossing the rejection onto the counter. "Their loss. Any school would be lucky to have you." For 20 minutes, they comforted Amanda, assuring her that Westlake had made a terrible mistake. No one asked if I had received any college notifications. The perfect moment to share my news had vanished, replaced by a cloud of disappointment that had nothing to do with me, but would soon engulf me nonetheless. That evening, as we gathered for dinner, I gathered my courage. "I have some news," I said during a rare moment of silence. "I got into Westlake University, with a scholarship." The clinking of silverware stopped. 3 pairs of eyes stared at me with expressions ranging from shock to something darker. "When did you find out?" Mom finally asked. "Yesterday," I admitted. "I was waiting for the right moment to tell everyone." Amanda pushed back from the table. "Congratulations," she said flatly before walking upstairs. The sound of her bedroom door slamming echoed through the house. Dad cleared his throat. "Well, that puts us in an awkward position, doesn't it?" My heart sank. "What do you mean? We always imagined you girls would go to college together," Mom explained, her tone suggesting I had somehow disrupted a long-established plan. "Have you considered waiting a year? Amanda could reapply and you could both start together?" The suggestion felt like a punch to the stomach. "But I worked so hard for this. The scholarship might not be available next year. There are other schools," Dad countered. "Places where both of you could go together." The conversation shifted to other topics, but the seed had been planted. My acceptance, rather than being celebrated, had become a family problem to solve. A week later, Dad called a family meeting in the living room. Amanda sat beside Mom on the couch while I perched alone in an armchair across from them. "We need to discuss college plans rationally," Dad began. "Westlake is incredibly expensive, even with your partial scholarship, Stella. We simply cannot afford to send you there while also paying for Amanda's education elsewhere." "But my scholarship covers almost half the tuition," I protested. "Half of too much is still too much," he countered. "Besides, we always planned for you girls to room together. It would save on housing costs and make the transition easier for both of you." Mom leaned forward. "Family should stick together. You and Amanda have never been apart. Think about how difficult that would be for her." "For both of you," Dad quickly added, though his concern seemed primarily directed toward Amanda. The financial argument evolved into emotional manipulation over the following days. Mom would tear up while folding laundry, mumbling about her daughters being separated. Dad began leaving community college brochures on my desk. Amanda alternated between ignoring me completely and making passive-aggressive comments about some people getting lucky while others have to work twice as hard. The pressure intensified when they involved our extended family. Aunt Rachel called to tell me how important it was to support my sister during this difficult time. Grandma sent an email reminiscing about how beautiful it was that Amanda and I had done everything together since birth. "Your acceptance was probably just a numbers game," Dad suggested one morning over breakfast. "These schools have quotas to fill. Amanda has always been the natural leader between you two." Each comment chipped away at my confidence, making me question whether I truly deserved the opportunity I had earned. The isolation grew as I realized no one in my family would champion my cause. Then came the ultimate betrayal. While using the family computer to print a housing form, I noticed an open email in Dad's account. The subject line caught my eye, regarding Stella Parker's admission status. With trembling fingers, I clicked to open it. Dad had contacted Westlake's admissions office, inquiring about deferring my acceptance for a year due to family circumstances. The response explained that deferrals were considered on a case-by-case basis but would require me to submit the request personally. That night, I overheard my parents in the kitchen after they thought I had gone to bed. The financial aid office said her scholarship cannot be deferred, Dad explained in a hushed tone. But if she turns it down, we could use that money for Amanda to attend state university with a private room. It would be better than her sharing with a stranger. Do you think she will agree? Mom asked. She has to understand that sometimes family comes first, Dad replied. Amanda has always had her heart set on the full college experience. Stella can still get her degree locally. She would adjust better anyway with her introverted personality. I retreated to my room, heart pounding and eyes burning with unshed tears. The reality crashed down on me like a physical weight. My achievement wasn't just being diminished. It was being actively sabotaged by the very people who should have been my strongest supporters. The confrontation happened on a Sunday afternoon 2 weeks before housing deposits were due. I entered the living room to find my parents and Amanda sitting in a semicircle, their expressions solemn. Stella, we need to talk about college, Dad began using his manager voice. We have given this a lot of thought and determined that the best solution for our family is for you to decline Westlake's offer. Despite anticipating this moment, hearing the words spoken aloud sent a shock through my system. Amanda will be attending state university in the fall, Mom continued. They have an excellent pre-law program, and with the money we save from not sending you to Westlake, she can have the full college experience she deserves. Amanda looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. I never wanted to come between you and your dreams, Stella, but it feels like my whole life I have been in your academic shadow. You always make everything look so easy while I struggle. Is it so wrong for me to want my time to shine without feeling like I am competing with you? Dad placed his hand on Amanda's shoulder. Your sister has always been there for you. I am sure she wants what is best for the family. We have already spoken to Westlake, Mom added casually. They said they need your written confirmation to release your spot. We thought you might want to do that today so we can finalize Amanda's housing deposit tomorrow. The room spun around me as the magnitude of their betrayal sank in. 18 years of being overlooked, 18 years of quiet achievement in the face of indifference, 18 years of watching Amanda receive praise for minimal effort while my accomplishments gathered dust. You went behind my back, I whispered, finding my voice. You contacted my college without my permission. Dad shifted uncomfortably. We were exploring options as your parents. No. The word emerged stronger than I intended. You were trying to sabotage my future to prioritize Amanda's feelings. Again. That is not fair, Mom protested. Fair. The word felt foreign on my tongue. Was it fair when you missed my debate championship but took off work for Amanda's pep rally? Was it fair when you spent $2,000 on her sweet 16 party but told me books were enough for my birthday? Was it fair every single time you made me feel invisible in my own home? The stunned silence that followed gave me courage to continue. I have spent my entire life accepting that Amanda was your favorite. I never complained when she got new clothes while I got hand-me-downs. I never protested when her achievements were celebrated while mine were expected. But this is my future. This is the one thing I will not sacrifice. Amanda began crying, the familiar response that typically redirected all attention to her comfort. This time I refused to be sidetracked. I earned my place at Westlake. I wrote my essays between newspaper deadlines and debate tournaments. I studied until 2 in the morning while listening to you praise Amanda for bringing home C+ grades. I did it all without tutors, without expensive college consultants, without even your emotional support. You are being selfish, Dad snapped. Family supports each other. Where was that family support when I needed it? I countered. Where was it every time I achieved something only to have it ignored in favor of Amanda's latest drama? I stood my whole body shaking, but my resolve firmer than it had ever been. I am going to Westlake. I will not turn down my acceptance, my scholarship, or my future. And if you try to interfere again, I will contact the university myself and report your unauthorized communications. The next morning, I skipped breakfast and went straight to school, arriving early to meet with Mrs. Davidson, my English teacher. For 4 years, she had been quietly encouraging my academic pursuits, writing recommendation letters, and suggesting summer programs. Now I needed her guidance more than ever. They want me to give up Westlake for my sister, I explained, trying to keep my voice steady. Mrs. Davidson's expression shifted from surprise to determination. That is not happening on my watch. With her help, I contacted Westlake's financial aid office directly. The counselor I spoke with, Mr. Jenkins, listened sympathetically to my situation. Unfortunately, we hear stories like yours more often than you would think, he said. Since you are 18, your parents cannot make these decisions for you. Let me see what additional financial resources might be available. That afternoon, I created an account on a forum for first-generation college students. Through their guidance, I discovered work-study opportunities, additional scholarship applications, and most importantly, a community that understood my struggles. Within a week, I had secured a campus job in the neuroscience department's administrative office, arranged for independent student housing, and filed the necessary paperwork to ensure all university communications came directly to my personal email. Mrs. Davidson connected me with a former student, now attending Westlake, who offered to help me navigate campus and find affordable textbooks. Mr. Jenkins from Financial Aid found an additional scholarship specifically for students demonstrating exceptional resilience in the face of obstacles. For the first time, I felt truly supported, not despite my achievements, but because of them. Each small step toward securing my future independently strengthened my resolve. The final confrontation came the night before I planned to leave for campus orientation. I had packed methodically over several days, storing my belongings in Mrs. Davidson's garage to prevent any interference. As I retrieved the last of my things, Dad blocked my doorway. "So you are really going through with this," he said, his expression a mixture of anger and disbelief. "Yes," I replied simply. "Your mother has been crying for days. Amanda feels like you are abandoning her." I continued, folding the last of my clothes. "I am not abandoning anyone. I am pursuing the opportunity I earned." "And what about family loyalty? Does that mean nothing to you?" "Loyalty goes both ways, Dad." Amanda appeared in the hallway, tears streaming down her face. "We were supposed to experience college together. How am I supposed to go alone? The same way I have done everything else?" I answered, zipping my suitcase closed. "On your own terms, with Mom and Dad cheering you on every step of the way." Mom made one final emotional appeal as I carried my bags downstairs. "If you walk out that door, you are telling us that your own ambitions matter more than this family." I paused at the front door, the weight of 18 years of diminishment and disregard finally lifting from my shoulders. "No, Mom. I am telling you that I matter too. I always have, even when none of you could see it." With those words, I walked to Mrs. Davidson's waiting car, leaving behind the expectations that had confined me for so long. The mixture of grief and liberation that washed over me as we drove away was unlike anything I had experienced before. Something was ending, but something far more important was beginning. My first semester at Westlake challenged me in ways I never anticipated. Beyond the rigorous academics, I navigated the practical realities of supporting myself. My campus job in the neuroscience department required 20 hours weekly between classes. Weekends meant shifts at a local coffee shop to cover expenses my scholarships did not. Every dollar mattered, every minute counted. Those early weeks, I sometimes cried myself to sleep in my small single dorm room, not from the workload or financial stress, but from the echoing silence of my phone. No calls from home, no texts asking how I was adjusting. The occasional messages from Amanda only highlighted their absence, usually brief updates about her own college experience, punctuated with subtle guilt trips about my absence. My roommate Jessica became my first real friend. She noticed my schedule with concerned eyes. "You work harder than anyone I know," she commented one night as I returned from a late shift, still facing hours of studying. Is it worth it? Looking up from my textbook, I realized I had never considered another option. Every minute I answered truthfully. Jessica introduced me to her study group 5 other students who shared late-night pizza and quiz preparation. Unlike my family, they expressed genuine interest in my research aspirations. When I received my first perfect score on a challenging neurobiology exam, they celebrated with an impromptu dance party in our dorm lounge. Their unrestrained pride in my achievement felt foreign but wonderful. Professor Reynolds, who led the neuroplasticity research lab, noticed my dedication despite my heavy work schedule. "Students like you are why I teach," she told me after class one day. "Your questions show remarkable insight for a first-year student." That simple acknowledgement, offered casually between classes, meant more than any praise I had received in 18 years at home. During my second month on campus, I discovered a support group specifically for students navigating family estrangement. In those weekly meetings, I found people who understood the complicated grief of having family who were still present in your life but emotionally absent. Blood relation does not automatically equal healthy relationship, the group facilitator, Dr. Lin, explained during one session. Sometimes the most loving choice you can make is creating distance that allows you to grow. Those words resonated deeply as I began working with a campus therapist to process years of being overlooked. Through those sessions, I slowly recognized patterns I had internalized: the constant need to prove my worth, the assumption that my needs mattered less than others, the reflexive minimization of my achievements. "Your accomplishments belong to you," my therapist reminded me. "No one can diminish them unless you give them that power." Thanksgiving brought the first major test of my new boundaries. My parents expected me home but offered no assistance with travel expenses. The unspoken message was clear: if I had chosen this independent path, I would bear all its consequences alone. Instead of making the trip, I accepted Jessica's invitation to join her family. Her parents welcomed me with genuine warmth, asking thoughtful questions about my studies and listening with real interest to my answers. Their home lacked the undercurrent of comparison and favoritism I had grown up with. No one was diminished to elevate someone else. Christmas proved more difficult. Traditional expectations weighed heavily, and I briefly considered returning home. A tense phone conversation with Dad changed my mind. "We expect you home by the 23rd, he stated rather than asked. "Your absence at Thanksgiving really hurt your mother and sister. Will you help with the bus ticket?" I asked. "My next paycheck is already budgeted for books." His scoff was audible. "You chose this expensive school over family. Figure it out yourself." I spent Christmas with my English teacher, Mrs. Davidson, and her husband instead. She had become a mentor and friend, checking in regularly and celebrating my academic success. Her gift to me was a leather-bound journal with an inscription that brought tears to my eyes. "Your story is still being written. Make each chapter count." By spring semester, I had found my rhythm. My grades placed me at the top of my class, and Professor Reynolds invited me to join her research team, a rare honor for a freshman. I made friends who valued my intelligence rather than seeing it as a threat, and I learned to celebrate my achievements without guilt. When summer approached, I secured an on-campus research position that provided housing and a stipend. The distance from my family remained painful at times, but I recognized it as necessary for my growth. Occasional text exchanges with Amanda suggested she too was finding her own path, though our relationship remained complicated by years of parental comparison. One year after that fateful confrontation, I received an unexpected email from Dad. Its tone lacked the commanding certainty I had grown accustomed to. "Your mother and I have been reflecting on our handling of your college decision. While we still believe families should support each other, we recognize our approach was flawed. Amanda is doing well at State and seems happier without constant comparison to you. If you would consider visiting this summer, we would like to try again." The message represented a small acknowledgement of their mistake, though not quite the apology I deserved. Still, it opened a door to potentially healthier communication. I replied that I would consider a brief visit after my research commitment ended. When we finally reunited, the dynamics had shifted noticeably. My parents regarded me with a mixture of uncertainty and respect they had never shown before. Amanda and I spoke cautiously but honestly about the competition our parents had fostered between us. "I always thought you had it easier because school came naturally to you," she admitted as we sat alone on the back porch. I never realized how hard you worked or how much it hurt when they overlooked your achievements. And I envied how easily you won their attention and approval, I confessed. We were both damaged by their favoritism, just in different ways. That conversation marked the beginning of a more authentic relationship between us, free from the rivalry that had defined our childhood. My relationship with my parents remains a work in progress. I maintain firm boundaries about my educational and career decisions while allowing space for them to evolve. Some days are better than others, but I no longer measure my worth through their recognition. The most valuable lesson from this painful journey was learning that sometimes you must disappoint others to honor yourself. True love, whether from family, friends, or partners, never requires diminishing your light to make others comfortable with their shadows. Success is not a limited resource to be rationed among siblings or friends. There is room for everyone to thrive in their own way. I now understand that breaking generational patterns often feels like betrayal to those who remain entrenched in them. My parents wanted me to repeat the same sacrifices and compromises they had made, mistaking limitation for loyalty. By refusing, I offered all of us the opportunity to grow beyond those constraints. Today, as I prepare for my junior year with a prestigious research fellowship and graduate school on the horizon, I recognize that standing my ground was not selfish, but necessary. The strength I discovered in that moment of crisis has shaped every decision since, guiding me toward a future authentic to my own dreams, rather than someone else's expectations. Have you ever had to make a difficult choice between family expectations and your own path forward? How did you find the strength to stand your ground? Leave a comment below sharing your experience. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more journeys of finding yourself even when others try to hold you back. Share this with someone who might need to be reminded that their dreams matter too. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember that sometimes the hardest choices lead to the most beautiful destinations.